Hello guys and welcome to another video. In today's video I'm going to show you how I made this painting with a set of 90 acrylic markers that Arrtx kindly sent me. First of all, I will make the unboxing of the package that they sent me and we will take a look at these markers. Then I will move into the full process of making this painting, so if you are just interested in this painting you can move forward with the time steps that I've put. And otherwise, stick with me for the entire duration of the video and let's see together how this set is. I recently tested and reviewed two other sets of acrylic markers by Arrtx, a set of 48 and a set of 72 markers. Now it's the turn of the 90 marker set and I can't wait to see how they are. Unboxing time! With the previous sets I've made these paintings right here, and this time I would like to continue in the direction of portraits. But first, let's do some tests. First of all, I want to get some markers to see if the color matches the palette provided. Let's take for example the number 65 and let's see what it's like. Here it is. The color of the marker plastic in this case looks very similar to the color on the palette, although at first glance I don't think the same is true for other colors, but we will see that. Now let's take a look at the color on the paper. First of all, note that this marker does not need to be activated, it can be used immediately. Okay, now let's finally try it on paper. As always, the color of Arrtx is excellent, easy to apply, opaque and very vivid. Also, I have to say that I really love this tip. By varying the pressure, you can vary the thickness of the line, but unlike similar products, it's really easy to use, as you can see, and it gives you a lot of control over the color you apply. I am noticing also that the color dries really quickly, almost immediately after applying it. I noticed that some colors do not match the color on the palette, such as this 05 for example. If we take it, we see that the color of the plastic seems much more yellow than the color on the palette, which appears to be more greenish. Let's try it on paper to clear up any doubts and see how it really looks. Yes, it's definitely more yellow, warmer. It's quite different actually from the color on the palette. It's much more similar to the color on the back of the marker. I don't think I will trust this palette much, I will try the markers one by one before using them. At this point I want to do just one last quick test before moving on to the painting, to see how the colors layer and overlap. These colors dry quickly, so it's easy to layer them. The yellow is less saturated than the blue, but you can still layer it on the top of it. These colors are really opaque and vivid, as you can see. In the case of the blue on the yellow, I would say that since the blue is darker, the overlap is perfect. Okay, now let's move on to the painting. This is the sketch I've prepared, ready to be colored. I based it on this reference, a beautiful photo I found on Pinterest, and I must say that it wasn't easy to find it. I hadn't been on Pinterest for a long time and unfortunately now it's full of AI art that clogs everything up. It's a shame, AI art is ruining even Pinterest, one of the best sites for finding references. But anyway, enough complaining, let's get back to the painting. I decided to add the koi fishes to give it some movement and to resemble a painting I did a few years ago. This time I didn't start with the background but with the subject. This set has different skin tones, which allows you to give the face a three-dimensional look. I tried to highlight the light points right away, leaving those areas white at first. I must admit that I had quite a bit of difficulty with the face. These markers are water-based, but I didn't feel comfortable blending with water and a brush for fear of messing everything up. So I preferred to blend by dabbing the edges between two colors with my fingers, and I must say that it worked quite well. However, during the first phase I struggled to achieve a decent result. The ugly phase was tough, and I confess that I even thought about redoing the painting from scratch because I thought it was turning out badly. The great thing about these markers, however, is that they allow you to correct mistakes. work on the painting and layer by layer achieve a satisfying result. It certainly requires patience, but in the end you can improve everything. As you can see, for the highlights on the face, I first applied a light blue and then the lightest skin tone I had, to make it a little cooler and to contrast more with the pink tones. While testing the products for the previous videos, I opted for a pop art style because it lends itself very well to acrylic markers, given that the blending is not easy and the colors are very bright. However, this time I opted for a more painterly style, focusing more on blending and leaving less defined brush strokes. I have absolutely zero experience with this style, but the beauty of traditional art and trying new tools, in my opinion, is precisely that you can throw yourself into something new, make choices based on instinct, and don't look back. There's a bit of chaos and risk involved in all this, but I find it a challenge that helps you to grow a lot. It's always good to experiment and you have to try it without fear of making mistakes. In my opinion, there's a lot of freedom in this process. For that reason, it was indeed difficult at first, I'm not gonna lie, but in the end I really enjoyed a lot painting this picture and using these markers. I spent a whole day on it and I was so focused that I almost forgot to have lunch. I was totally absorbed by the painting and I didn't notice the time passing at all. Honestly, I wish every day could be like that. I just want to take a moment to remind you to like, comment and above all subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. It's a small gesture that costs you nothing, but it's a huge help for me. Thank you very much. At this point we are nearing the end and I want to tell you what I think of this set based on my experience with this painting. First of all, 90 markers are a lot. It's really a great number for doing almost anything. There are a few colors missing in my opinion, for example a few more red tones wouldn't hurt, but there are many shades of other colors, so overall it's not bad at all. The color is vivid and opaque. Once applied to the paper it dries very quickly and immediately becomes bright. It is also easy to layer the colors and to cover the underlying color with another one on top. One very important thing is that the color does not ruin the paper. It does not bleed through and this allows you to use these colors on different types of paper, even fine ones. Being water-based, you can also decide to blend the colors with water. If you are used to using watercolors, for example, this can be a great tool for approaching acrylic markers. Honestly, this product is really great and I recommend it to anyone who wants a fairly large set of acrylic markers. If you are interested, by the way, I will leave the links to purchase the product in the description, with a special discount that Arrtx gave me for this video. I just want to point out that I don't get any commission on sales, so I don't earn anything if you decide to buy it. At this point, most of the work is done. I just want to add a single color background, and I thought I would go with a light green, not too cold, so that it contrasts with the pinkish flesh tones and picks up some of the light reflection on the face. For this, a light blue would have been perfect, but then the carbs would no longer be visible, so I looked for something that would contrast a little with the face and not hide the carbs. So I did a few tests and selected two greens. The first is a little cooler and, in my opinion, a little too dark. Then I tried this one, which is a little warmer and more acid. And finally I chose the second one between the two. Let's go! At this point, the painting is finally finished. There is only one thing left to do. Thank you, sensei! And now, let's have a look at the final result. Thank you as always for staying with me this far. I hope you enjoyed the video and the painting. Thanks again to Arrtx for sending me this set and thanks for watching, guys.
Goodbye!